All right, welcome to IM1 Statistics Day One. This is the final season of IM1, so congratulations, you're almost there. A couple more weeks here. So, uh, if you look at the learning goals here, a lot of that's not going to make sense. Frequency and marginal frequency distributions and two-way tables and categorical data. A lot of that's probably new for you. Some students came in with some prior knowledge, had heard of categorical data and quantitative data before, which is awesome. If not, totally fine as well. A lot of this is going to be new, so open your mind up and just give it a chance. I think that you'll like it. So look at the vocabulary there, but again, it's not going to ring too many bells. So let's look at the warm up. So consider the following survey questions. Read each and determine how you might answer them. So would love to hear about your pets and what your favorite color is and your favorite sport and whatnot, but that's not the point. We don't want to know what your answers are to these. We want to know how one might answer them. So pause the video, think about how you might answer these things, and it might help to actually go through and answer them and then to look at your answers. But once again, we're thinking about how these would be answered. So think about that for a second. Now, the observations that were made in class were that some of these groupings that came together were some groupings were in were let's say this actually. Some answers were in numbers, okay, so numerical, whereas others, while others were answered with words. Okay, so if you think about it, like how many pets do you own? Maybe it's two. What's your favorite color? Blue. What's your favorite sport? Baseball. What score did you earn on the Shapes project? 82%. So just in those first four, two of them were answered with words, whereas two of them were answered numerically. So what this is going to come down to is what's called categorical, okay, data versus quantitative data, okay, or this being numerical, okay. A lot of what you're going to focus on in IM1 and today is categorical data. Okay, so we're going to look at things that are answered mostly with words. Okay, so let's take a little deeper look here. Okay, so again, the two types of variables that can be collected from a statistical question are either categorical data, okay, or numerical, which are also going to refer to as quantitative data. But this next example, this is your first example of some categorical data. So if we look at Miss Seymour here, the school cafeteria supervisor at West Park High School, she has been asked to cut her food budget for the upcoming spring semester. One idea she has is to cut the number of meal choices during the week. So what Miss Seymour has done is she created a Google form and sent it out to the students in Miss Stockman's gym class, which consisted of just 9th and 10th graders. Okay. So the table below are the results from the survey. Now, for example, what this means right here is not that 10 people chose chicken nuggets or that 9 people chose burgers. This right here represents that a 10th grader was surveyed and they said that they preferred chicken nuggets. Here, a 9th grader was surveyed and they preferred burgers. Here, a 9th grader was surveyed and they responded with pizza, etc. So it looks like we have 30 total responses here from this survey. So there were 30 students in the class. And now let's go back through and start answering some questions here. What two questions did Miss Seymour ask in this survey? Well, one, she definitely asked, what grade are you in? Okay. And two, what is your top food preference? Okay, now if she's considering getting rid of one of the food options, of course, she's going to want to get rid of the least popular, right? So describing the data she collected as either numerical or categorical. Some in class wanted to say that this was both. Okay, but when you're considering numerical data, you want to ask, like, can you put it on a number line, right? And you're not going to put your grade on a number line necessarily. You're not going to be in like 52nd or 60th grade, right? It's finite. That's going to end. This is going to be a category. So if you want to think of it as like freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, so be it. But this is categorical. Okay, categorical. Okay, can be answered in words. Okay. So one way of organizing this data is to use a two-way frequency table. And here is where it's defined. It displays categorical data. Okay, so frequency tables are ways to display categorical data. On the table, one variable is divided into rows and the other is divided into columns. So the rows here, obviously, because we only have two options here, should be our 9th and our 10th grade. Okay. And then up along the top here, let's go burgers, chicken nuggets, pizza. Okay, these are going to be our 4 options here. Burgers, chicken nuggets, pizza, and what was salad bar? Okay, salad bar. All right. So this is pretty basic, pretty straightforward, but we're just teaching you how to use this thing. The first variable above is the grade level. Identify the groups in this grade level. We already did that, right? It's 9th and 10th. Okay, we already put it in the table. And the second variable is your favorite meal. Once again, we've already defined this as burgers, chicken nuggets, some pizza, or the salad bar. Okay, so those are the 4 options there. Now, give this a shot. I want you to go back and I want you to fill in these 8 spots here. So basically what this means is how many 9th graders preferred pizza. And if you go up there and you check, I believe there's 3 of the 9th graders chose pizza. I know that for 10th graders, I think like 1 10th grader chose chicken nuggets. I remember it's not a popular option amongst the sophomores. So basically what you need to go through here and do is fill out this marginal frequency distribution. And ultimately, all the numbers in this chart should add up to 30, right? Because there's 30 options here. So go ahead and pause that video. I'm going to do the same, and then we can double check and make sure that we have the same thing. All right, so I remembered it a little bit backwards. Actually, it was the 10th graders that liked the chicken nuggets 7-1. But this is what your chart should look like. And if it doesn't, go back and double check. And that's one of the things about statistics is you have to be very careful. You don't want to miscount or misrepresent anybody. So this is what the table should look like. Now here, there are several, infinitely many correct answers here. These are just some conclusions that had come up in class today. The most popular option among the 10th graders is the chicken nuggets. Clearly, right? You can see that they like the chicken nuggets more than any other option. 7 is greater than 3. It's greater than 3. It's greater than 4. The same amount of freshmen and sophomores chose pizza. 3 freshmen chose pizza. 3 sophomores chose pizza. And then we had someone in class make the comment, 9th and 10th graders like pizza the same amount. And when I told them, and the entire class was like, what are you talking about? I told them that actually this is incorrect. 9th and 10th graders like pizza the same amount. That's actually incorrect. And the way that you can actually see that a little bit clearer here is if you transfer all of these numbers down now, and again, I'm going to pause and do that really quick, but go ahead and transfer those numbers down, but include the totals in this column and the totals along the bottom row. So go ahead and do that really fast, just including the totals. Alrighty, so once you transfer everything down, it should look something like this now with the totals included. Now, as you can see, there were only 13 freshmen surveyed, where there were 17 sophomores surveyed. And if you consider this, 3 out of 13, right? If we're considering just the freshmen, which is 13, that's 3 out of the 13 that preferred pizza. And if you do 3 divided by 13, I think that comes out to like 26% or 23%, actually 23%, I remember correctly. But if you do this right here, this were 3 sophomores out of 17 that were surveyed, and that comes out to about 17 or 18%. So because the total number of freshmen is not the same as the number of sophomores, we cannot say that they like pizza the same amount, because actually the percentages of the number of freshmen preferring pizza is greater than the percentage of sophomores preferring pizza. And we're going to look at that relative marginal frequency distribution tomorrow, which will include percentages. But I really liked that this student included that point, 9th and 10th graders like pizza the same amount, because it took us down this path of considering, okay, well, are these numbers even? And actually they're not, right? So we didn't survey the same amount of 9th and 10th graders. Now, analyzing the marginal frequency distribution to answer the questions here, pretty basic. It's just making sure that the marginal frequency distribution makes sense to you. How many 9th graders participated in the survey? There were 13 there. How many students preferred burgers? It looks like there's a total of 7 students that preferred burgers. How many students preferred chicken nuggets? Again, pretty basic. That's going to be 8. How many 10th graders participated in the survey? We had 17 10th graders there. How many students prefer the salad bar? It looks like we have a total of 9 that prefer the salad bar. This question is probably the trickiest one, but very important to understand. How can you use the totals to determine whether you correctly created the frequency distribution? Well, if you add 13 and 17, and that gives you 30 right here, 13 plus 17 gives you 30. But then you add 7 plus 8 plus 6 plus 9, or whatever the numbers are along the bottom here, and that doesn't equal 30. So if you get one total adding up your columns, but you get a different total adding up your rows, you've done something wrong. So the way you can check this is the sum of the column on the far right should equal the sum of the bottom row, okay? In this case, they both equal 30, okay? Because there were 30 that participated in this survey. Now, a few more questions down here. Which meal did the least number of students say was their favorite meal? Looking along the bottom there, it looks like the least number of people preferred pizza, right? 6 is less than 9 and 8 and 7. Okay, so we're going to go pizza here. Which meal did the least number of 9th grade students say was their favorite? So here we're just looking at the 9th grade students. So it looks like chicken nuggets. Only one person chose chicken nuggets. Okay, for whatever reason, that's popular amongst the sophomores, but not the freshmen. Which meal is the most favorite of all students? It looks like the majority of students, who may be dieting here, prefer the salad bar. 9 is greater than every other option. So we're going with the salad bar here. And then which meal is most favorite of the 10th graders? Well, looks like it's going to be those chicken nuggets again, right? 7 is greater than 3 is greater than 3 is greater than 4. So we're going back to the chicken nuggets. All right, so quick little introduction there for you to the statistics. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed that. It's definitely different than functions and patterns and solving, but hopefully you enjoyed that. Okay, finish strong here. You guys have a couple more weeks. You can do this.